I'd like to call to order the Wytheville Town Council meeting of Monday, June the 10th, 2024 at 5 o'clock. And we are located at the Municipal Building at 150 East Monroe Street. We do have an established quorum of 3 people. We're a little light tonight, but we got a quorum. I ask you to stand to please join Councilwoman Holly Atkins in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Holly. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda, and I would ask or entertain a motion in that order. Motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and a second. Any further discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Atkins?
Atkins, aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Johnson, aye.
Chair votes aye. Approval of agenda is met. For your information, we will have a 6 p.m. scheduled recess if needed. Okay, in order to proceed with the agenda, we must approve the consent agenda, and the consent agenda consists of minutes of the work session and the regular meeting of May 28th. This requires a motion also. Do I hear a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor by approving the minutes of the work session and the regular meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Those disapprove, like sign. Motion approved. The first item tonight on the agenda is a public hearing, and this public hearing is to consider the request of Ronald Hausman Jr. and Mark Allen Harmon, trustees of the Mark Allen Harmon Trustee, to vacate an undeveloped portion of West Pine Street, extending between North 16th Street and North 18th Street. At this moment, we will have a presentation by the Director of Public Utilities and Engineering, Billy Anderson, to discuss this issue.
Good afternoon, you all. My staff report from the engineering department stays the same as it was before. I did have an opportunity to meet with the viewers, which was Mr. Gilman and Holly Atkins, over the last couple of weeks to go over any particular items that they felt was of concern with the closure of it, if we did elect to vacate it. I think most of the additional concerns was same thing with public utilities, effective drainage across there since it is a natural drainway, reservation of a easement for us, and some restrictions on construction in and around our water infrastructure, and as far as the obstruction or impeding of any storm flow that went down through there that carries natural drainage through the property. The only thing that was really brought up was by you, Ms. Atkins, about any liability of potential, past use of the alleyway. If anything ever could come back with us to be harmful, whatever. Again, I think with the appropriate reservations, again, upon the approval of Mr. Castle, any documentations that we would create to reserve restrictions or basically release any liability from it. I think that can be handled through appropriate verbiage in the deed. If you guys have any questions, anything regarding?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate you, Mr. Anderson, yourself, and also Andrew Austin,
Certainly.
for taking the time to take me out there. Thank you very much, and the hard work that y'all done on that. So.
I appreciate it.
Bill, is there a time frame on this process?
We haven't particularly set one. If basically if approved, the only contingencies would be the receipt of the estimated market value of the property, and then the basically the execution of the deed of quitclaim to the two participants. We haven't necessarily set a time frame on that, but we could reasonably put a time frame on it to the two applicants that the approval will be valid for a certain period of time, to give them, if in fact they had to acquire funding or anything to purchase it through, or what have you. So we could stipulate a time frame that this would be good for. Would you guys have an idea of what you'd be comfortable with holding this approval if in fact you did vote to approve it?
You all have any, Ms. Atkins or Ms. Johnson, any further questions for Mr. Anderson? Then I will open up the public hearing to the public, and I'm looking at the sign-in sheet, and I don't see anyone signed up to speak on behalf of this public hearing. But anybody out there is welcome to come forward if you have any comments you want to make before the council makes a decision. Mr. Hausman? Okay. All right. Then the public hearing's closed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Okay, council, it's up to consideration whether we want to adopt ordinance number 1435, which is a ordinance discontinuing and vacating an undeveloped portion of West Pine Street extending between North 16th and North 18th. The chair entertains a motion.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any further discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Ms. Johnson?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
And the chair votes aye. Passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Anderson, on this.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Okay. Continuing our agenda, where council is going to consider ordinance number 1434. And this ordinance is renaming Chapter 10, Planning and Development, and repealing Article 4, Erosion and Sediment Control, and Article 5, which is Impervious Land Area Stormwater Management of the Code of Town of Virginia, on the first and final reading. We will have a staff report by Assistant Town Manager Elaine Holton.
Good evening, council and guests at tonight's meeting. In your packet under 8B, you have my staff report regarding, and this is a follow-up from the May 28th meeting, a follow-up regarding erosion and sediment control. At the last meeting, I gave a staff report, and just a quick summary. The action tonight is necessary to align the Town of Wytheville Erosion and Sediment Control Ordinance with the statewide erosion and sediment control regulations recently adopted by the Virginia General Assembly. In addition, we are recommending that we repeal the relevant section of the town code while also adopting a standalone erosion and sediment control program. So essentially 8B is going to be amending Chapter 10, and then 8C will be the adoption of the new standalone erosion and sediment control ordinance. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them, and thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Holton. Council, do we have anything further you want to ask Ms. Holton? Okay. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 1434 on first and final reading. This requires a motion, please. Motion made and second. Any further discussion? Those signify by saying aye if you want to adopt ordinance 1434.
It's roll call.
Roll call vote, excuse me. Ms. Johnson, roll call vote.
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
And chair votes aye. Unanimous. 1434 is adopted on first and final reading. Thank you. The next ordinance is ordinance number 1437, an ordinance establishing a standalone policy for an erosion and sediment control program for the town of Wytheville on the first and final reading. Ms. Holton, do you have anything further to add?
Sure. Just quickly, in your packet, you will see the new standalone ordinance language under 8C. And I'm pleased to report that we feel like these new regulations are going to be easy for the development community to understand, and we look forward to passing this ordinance this evening. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. All right. In order to adopt this ordinance 1437 on first and final reading, it will require a motion and a roll call vote. Chair entertains a motion. Second. Motion made. Second. Any further discussion? Okay. It's a roll call vote. Ms. Johnson.
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Chair votes aye. Unanimously, we passed ordinance number 1437. Thank you. We need to consider scheduling a work session to hold a meet and greet session to appoint a member of the Wytheville Tree Advisory Committee. Staff report by Town Clerk Sherry Corbin.
In your package, you'll find one application that we've received to be considered for appointment to the Wytheville Tree Advisory Committee. And at this meeting, you could either schedule a meet and greet session at a work session for at the next meeting on June 24th, or you could appoint the applicant to fill the term of Mr. David Reichert.
So at council, it looks like we got two options. We can either have a work session and meet and greet this person, or we can vote tonight. Does anybody know the applicant?
I would like to do a meet and greet as we've done with everyone else
Okay.
to remain fair and consistent.
Ms. Atkins,
I was gonna,
I'm in agreement also.
and I know sometimes we've done that at 4, so we do it like 4:30, like we've done.
Sure. Just make it a work session. The next scheduled council meeting, which is June 24th.
June 24th.
So you'll have a work session before your council meeting then.
Okay.
4:30, yes.
4:30 on June 24th.
Ms. Corbin, you'll get in contact with the applicant.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. This will require a motion to establish a work session. Chair entertains a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Work session in order for the next council meeting. Thank you. Carrying on, citizens period. Got one citizen who likes to speak during this time. Mr. Stevens?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Vice Mayor Patterson and members of council, I'm here tonight to announce my retirement effective August the 30th, 2024. I want to thank you and the previous councils for your appointments and confidence in my abilities for the past 39 years. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be the treasurer for the town of Wytheville. Thank you.
Can we not accept that?
Can we, do we have to accept that? Don't you want to do 40? Make it even, do 40.
Mike, I can't tell you how this is sad news and good news, I'm sure, for all of us. 39 years, is that what I heard you say? That's remarkable. You don't hear of a lot of people staying in one position for that long period of time. This is one dedicated employee for this town, and we have been so fortunate and privileged to have him. I'm just totally don't even want to do this because, Mike, this is, but you know, you got you got other plans, I'm sure. So this require a vote, or what do we do?
Yeah.
Got to vote.
Before we vote, Mr. Stevens, thank you so much for all that you've done in our treasurer's office. And, I won't forget last year's with the treasurer's conference that you held here and hosted you and your department. People were talking about you today at a conference that I attended of how nice it was. So thank you for your time and your service. Sad to see you go. Don't want you to go, but I understand what it's like to want to retire and to move on to the next journey in life. So thank you so much for all that you've done for the town. Thank you for helping me in my short time here. So with that, Miss Holly Atkins, if you have something to say,
I don't know where to start. Well, of course, Mr. Stevens and we go way back. I was thankful enough to be hired by Mr. Stevens in the town. I did work for the town and grateful for that. Mr. Stevens and I, sometimes he wrangled me in there, but I think, and I've explained this to him before, I think I'm some of the person I am today because in the accuracy I am at my job now because of Mr. Stevens, and I appreciate that very, very much. And I do hate to see you go, and I'm sure your employees hate to see you go as well. So congratulations on your new journey, new chapter. So then you will be missed.
I just want to say a thank you again, Mr. Stevens. One hell of a good job you've done for this town. Thank you so much. Understand we don't have to vote on it, so on behalf of the mayor and myself and the rest of town council, we accept your resignation.
yes, retirement. Thank you. Had to stay over and work late. I know what it's like when someone is staying over and working late. So thank you to his family as well.
All right. Anybody else have anything else they want to add? No one else has signed up to talk. So, got anybody want to add anything or address any issue towards this council? All right. Going forward. New business. Ms. Holt.
Great. I just have one item before the council this evening. I was made aware that we do need, if you're willing to do so, we do need to schedule a public hearing for June the 24th. And the purpose is for the end of fiscal year budget amendments. As you all know, this is something that is done every year about this time, and it's essentially a reconciliation of the budget before we end this budget year. Mr. Stevens is here this evening. If you want to ask more questions about that, this request came from his office. From what I understand, you do this every year about this time, but if there's anything that I can answer, I'm happy to do that. But if you're willing to do so, we will need to take an action tonight to schedule a public hearing for the June 24th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. This will require a motion and a roll call vote.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Johnson. Second by Ms. Atkins.
Caught me off guard, Mr. Stevens. A little bit.
Roll call vote, Ms. Atkins,
Atkins, aye.
Ms. Johnson,
Johnson, aye.
and the chair votes aye. We will have a public hearing on June the 24th considering the end of year budget amendments. Thank you. Reports, upcoming meetings, Ms. Town Clerk, Ms. Corbin.
Okay, I do have several here. The Wytheville Planning Commission meeting scheduled for Thursday, June the 13th has been canceled. Downtown Wytheville Incorporated Board of Directors will hold their meeting on Monday, June the 17th at 5:30 at the Downtown Wytheville office. The Wytheville Redevelopment and Housing Authority will hold their monthly meeting on Wednesday, June 19th at 12 p.m. at the Housing Authority office. The town municipal offices will be closed and all services curtailed on Wednesday, June 19th in observance of the Juneteenth holiday. The New River Regional Water Authority will hold their meeting on Thursday, June 20th at 10 a.m. at the Austinville Water Plant. And the last one, the next regular meeting of the Wytheville Town Council will be held on Monday, June 24th at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, carrying on. Other business. Review ordinance number 1436, and this ordinance is to repeal Chapter 7, License and Business Regulations, Article 3, which is taxi cabs and of the Code of Town of Virginia. Ms. Holton.
Okay, so the good news is no action is needed tonight. This presentation is just to make you aware of a staff recommendation to repeal the taxi cab section of the town code. This topic, gosh, Sherry, I think we started talking about this about a year ago, right? So from what we understand, this section of the town code originated in 1967. And I think back during that time period, maybe there was more taxi cabs in town, maybe there was more need from the town's point of view to regulate taxi cabs. Today, in 2024, the DMV does regulate taxi cabs as part of their standard licensing for their motor carriers. And in speaking with the town clerk and the town manager, and we consulted with the town attorney, we just do not feel that there is any need for Wytheville town to regulate taxi cabs because they're already regulated through the DMV. So you all can think about this topic a little bit. Again, no action is needed tonight. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call me or Ms. Corvin, and we're happy to answer those, or if there's anything I can answer for you this evening. If you're in general agreement with this idea, we will move forward with preparing an ordinance to repeal that section of the town code, which just deals with the need for taxi cab operators to get a permit from the town. So, is there any questions I can answer for you this evening? Okay, thank you.
So we'll bring it back on the 24th, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Carrying on, we're going to talk about review of vacancies and upcoming vacancies on town committees and boards and authorities.
Yes, ma'am. As you can see, you have a listing in your packet of all of the vacancies that we will have on the town committees and boards this coming year. The most immediate one that we have is there is a vacancy that will be on the Smith-With Airport Commission. The term expires June the 30th. So if you know someone that would like to apply, they'll need to go through the OpenGov portal on the town website. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that any applicants might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Corbin. If anybody out there wants to serve on a town committee, by all means, get in touch with Ms. Corbin or anybody on this council. We're always in need of somebody to serve.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we got a lot of town committees that we could use your help. All right, carrying on, council member time. Ms. Atkins.
The one thing I would like to bring up, I did speak to a citizen. And I did speak to Mr. Freeman about it earlier, but I did want to make it on record. The speeding on 21 as you're coming into town, because, due to the bridge. And I think Mr. Freeman said that they are working on some different things, but didn't know if maybe we could go back and relook at that. I'm not for sure how. I think the police department's been out there for time, but if we can maybe look at that again. And like I said, I do know that Mr. Freeman apparently reached out to another citizen as well, but I think you all are working on that still. But I just wanted to make sure that you bring that up. So thank you.
Okay. Ms. Johnson.
I wasn't done. I'm joking. I'm joking. Finally, I was quiet.
Oh, you're done? Okay. I received a notification, a citizen reached out to me, and they want to know when Wytheville will be getting a splash pad for the kids, so that they no longer have to drive to Hillsville or Christiansburg. And I think that that's something that we ought to accommodate our citizens with. I'll Be happy to work with anybody on town staff to get that done. And one more thing, at some point we need to schedule a closed meeting to discuss raises and evaluations for appointed employees. That I don't want that to slip through the cracks.
Okay. Is that all you got?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have anything at this time. You all have anything else you want to bring forward?
You don't want to come back?
Well, I thank you for coming tonight. We don't have anything else on the agenda. You're welcome to hang around and talk to any council member present or wish Mr. Stevens some good thoughts. Thank you for coming tonight. This meeting is adjourned.